Have you ever watched a 4-year-old child just coloring in a book or playing with a toy? If you stop and ask them why they're doing it, they're probably going to look at you like you're crazy. They'll just say, because it's fun. But, ask an adult why they are reading a book or learning a language or hitting the gym, and you get a completely different answer, right? It's all to improve my productivity or to network or to optimize my health. Somewhere along the way between childhood and adulthood, we completely forgot this fundamental truth. Just doing something because you enjoy it, that is reason enough. I mean, think about how weird our daily habits have gotten. People used to drink a cup of coffee just because they liked the taste. Now, we drink it as a biohack to optimize our morning output. We don't take a walk to clear our heads, we track our steps to hit a daily target. We're even streaming movies at 1.5x speed just to cross them off a mental watch list. It's like we literally aren't doing things for their own sake anymore. The whole shebang has just become a transaction, a means to an entirely different goal.
So, what does this all mean? Well, what if the reason you feel so chronically exhausted and unfulfilled isn't actually because you are doing too little? What if it's because you're trying to optimize absolutely everything? Your mornings are optimized, your workouts are tracked, even your relaxation time has a scheduled time block. We've kind of just internalized this idea that every single waking moment has to justify its existence to a spreadsheet. It's wild. And this is the hidden cost of a modern psychological trap called the optimization disease. We've become so obsessed with managing our time and perfecting our routines that we've accidentally turned our human existence into a production line. In this explainer, we're going to dive into this psychological glitch that tricks us into chasing efficiency at the cost of our happiness and look at the specific practical shift you need to make to finally break the cycle.
Section 1. The dopamine spreadsheet.
Okay, so let's really dive into this deep contradiction that's happening inside our minds every single day. You know that feeling when you finish a task and cross it off a list? Your brain releases this quick little hit of dopamine, and it feels incredibly satisfying, right? It gives you this internal sense of accomplishment and control. But here's the catch. Because that feeling is so intensely addictive, we slowly start applying it to literally every single part of our lives. We stop letting our days just happen naturally, and we start treating our time on Earth like a literal accounting project. I mean, look at these absurd ways we treat our human existence like a corporate ledger. We turn the simple joy of exercise into a rigid step metric. Relaxation, which is supposed to be restful, gets turned into a highly timed, structured schedule. Reading isn't about getting lost in a story anymore, it's a books per year target. We even take our spontaneous creative hobbies and immediately try to turn them into a side hustle. Our vacations become managed projects, and our rest, just another metric to track. So the crucial point here is that we are completely confusing mere action with actual meaning. We are mistaking the illusion of control for real fulfillment. Look, a checklist can absolutely measure how efficiently you spent your afternoon. It tracks your actions perfectly, but it can never, ever measure if that afternoon was actually worth living.
Section 2. Goodhart's Law and the Metrics Trap.
Let's bring in a brilliant principle from behavioral economics to understand exactly why all this tracking backfires and leaves us feeling so incredibly empty. It's known as Goodhart's Law. Simply put, it states, when a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. Let that sink in for a second. When a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. This is the absolute foundation of our entire optimization problem. We start out with a good intention, we find a way to measure it, and then we obsess over the measurement so much that we completely confuse the proxy for the real thing in our daily lives.
To really wrap our heads around this, think about this famous factory analogy. Imagine a factory that makes nails. If the manager rewards the workers based entirely on the number of nails they produce, so rewarding quantity, they're going to churn out thousands of tiny, completely useless pins.
But if the manager flips it and rewards them based on the total weight of the nails produced, what happens? The workers produce one single massive, incredibly heavy iron spike. In both of these scenarios, the workers hit their metrics perfectly, but the actual goal of making useful nails completely destroyed.
And the crazy part is, we do this exact same thing with our own lives. Let's look at how this maps out step by step. Step 1, your original, deeply human goal is just to seek some peace of mind. Step 2, you download a meditation app to help you out. Step 3, the app creates a measure, like a daily streak count, and suddenly, bam, that streak becomes your target. Step 4, you find yourself furiously meditating at 11:58 p.m., not to find calm, but literally just to keep a digital number alive on a screen. No way, right? But we do this with everything, from grades being more important than learning to stock prices overriding real value. The metric survives perfectly, but the original human goal, it completely dies.
I really want you to think about this for a second. Why are we so deeply obsessed with quantifying our rest? Like, why do we need a digital score to tell us if we slept well? Take a moment to just reflect on that. Because once we pull back the curtain on the corporate mechanics at play here, the answer is actually quite unsettling.
Section 3. The capitalist matrix. You see, a sociologist wouldn't look at your highly optimized daily routine as some beautiful journey of self-improvement. They wouldn't see it as empowering at all. Instead, they'd probably see a pretty sinister trick pulled off by modern capitalism. Back in the early days of the Industrial Revolution, capitalism required a physical boss to stand over you with a stopwatch to force you to work faster. But modern capitalism, it pulled off something brilliant. It convinced you to do it to yourself. The market has totally colonized our minds to the point where tracking our sleep score isn't even about enjoying our dreams anymore. It's just a way to ensure our bodies are perfectly recharged so we can log back into the corporate matrix at 9 a.m. sharp. We have literally turned our personal lives into an unpaid internship for our corporate jobs. We're not optimizing to be happier humans. We're optimizing to be more compliant, high-yielding machinery. Section 4. The map versus the messy reality.
This brings us to a massive psychological conflict happening inside all of us right now. It is this deep tension between our desperate craving for clean data and the inherently chaotic nature of the real world. We call this the map versus the territory. We absolutely love the sterile map. We love neat data, predictable schedules, clear graphs. It feels safe, you know? But real life, the territory, is driven by things that you could never stuff into a spreadsheet cell: spontaneous human emotion, unexpected connections, and pure luck. The problem is, by ruthlessly filtering out all that illegible friction just to make our life maps look tidy, we accidentally eliminate the flavor and the joy. We cut short a great spontaneous conversation because it breaks our schedule. We abandon a creative hobby just because we can't measure the return on investment. It's tragic.
Section 5. Reclaiming the territory. So how on earth do we heal from this optimization disease without, completely throwing away our calendars, trashing our smartphones, and living in total chaos? Because, let's be honest, structure is still a fantastic tool to build a career, but it is a terrible master for a human soul. The cure is that you must intentionally break Goodhart's law. You literally have to destroy some of your metrics and give yourself permission to simply experience the day. Allow some inefficiency back into your life. Have a long conversation that goes absolutely nowhere. Pursue a hobby that you are completely terrible at purely because it brings you joy. Try stopping tracking your stats for just a week. Stop trying to perfect the map and start actually living in the messy territory. Conclusion. The quality questions. The ultimate answer here isn't downloading yet another productivity app to manage your downtime.
It's about fundamentally changing the questions you ask yourself at the end of the day. Right now, we're all trained to ask quantity questions. How much did I get done? How efficient was I? We need to break that spell. Tonight, when your day is done, do not look at a checklist. Instead, ask yourself these two quality and experience questions. Step 1, what did I do today purely for the sake of doing it, without trying to turn it into a productive result? And step 2, what was the highest quality human interaction I experienced today? If you can answer those two questions tonight, then listen, even if your schedule was completely ruined and totally messy, you didn't fail. You won. You chose the beautiful territory over the sterile map.
Today, almost everything we do has become an investment in a better future, expected to produce a return. But remember this, stop measuring the container, start tasting what's inside. So ask yourself, when you wake up tomorrow morning, what are you actually living for? The spreadsheet or the experience? If you found this explainer helpful and you're ready to reclaim your life from the metrics trap, hit subscribe. Let's protect our humanity together. See you in the next explainer.